Hi, I'm Alvina Ling.
And I'm Grace Lin.
And we're book friends
forever!
We're childhood friends
who grew up to be
a children's book editor
and an author and illustrator.
Welcome to Book Friends Forever. This is the Cultivating Joy in Others' Successes episode.
And check out our website, bookfriendsforever.com, and our Instagram handle at bookfriendsforever_podcast. Alvina, how have you been?
Well, I'm a little sad because you were supposed to be here in person and you're not.
That's true.
Because of the snowstorm. So I think we all survived the snowstorm. But that was kind of like the big news of, I guess, the past week, is kind of preparing for it. Although for us, preparing for it was just to get a lot of junk food. And we ordered like Chinese food the night before so that we'd have a lot of leftovers just to eat throughout the storm. But I will say I did not leave my apartment for, I would say, 2.5 whole days. And it snowed quite a lot. I thought it was going to be over a foot, but then it kind of turned to sleet partway through the storm.
We got 12 inches.
Yeah, I think we probably got 8 or so. So it was, a lot for us. But everything shut down. So our office was closed on Monday, which I think was for the best. And I know I did go into the office yesterday. We're recording this on Wednesday, January 28th. So I did go in yesterday and I had no problem with the commute, but some people had 2-hour-long commutes. People had trains that were canceled. My assistant couldn't come in from New Jersey because they were running on an emergency schedule. So, there are still issues. But now I think
was it really cold where you were? Like here, it's freezing, like below, like 7 below and everything like that.
Here it was, I would say, like around like 12 degrees, but feels like, -2 or -4. So it has been cold. But I will say, we're going to talk about this later, but the big news is that on Monday was the ALA, the American Library Association's Youth Media Awards, which is kind of like the most exciting day in children's book publishing. I'll talk about this more later, but we at Little Brown had some nice news. And for me specifically, 2 books that I edited were honored. One is right over my shoulder is Invisible Parade. John Picasso won a Purabelle Pré honor for illustration.
Hooray!
Hooray! And then Joel Parker Rhodes won the Coretta Scott King medal for author. For writing for Will's Race for Home. So yes, that was really exciting.
Her. Yeah, so I was kind of hoping she'd get the Newbery mention as well, but there's a lot of people I was hoping.
Oh my gosh, I know, and we're going to talk about that as one of our segments. But there's just so many wonderful books that were published last year. So it is just an honor to be honored for anything, because some people didn't get anything, and that's, I don't know, it's really disappointing. Although we are going to talk about cultivating joy and other successes, so so for all of you who maybe were disappointed this week, maybe you can take heart.
Yes. I didn't get anything either.
Yeah. I think, and you can take heart.
I'm taking great heart.
Yes. I think other than that, I mean, obviously we talked about this last week, but even, and then on other news, obviously just terrible news keeps coming in from, I mean, honestly around the world, but especially in Minnesota. We talked about the death of Renee Good last week or two weeks ago. But then this just recently, a second person was killed by ICE who was, trying to help a protester who was being shoved to the ground and pepper sprayed. But Alex Preddy was shot, I think, over 10 times. He is an ICU nurse at the VA hospital, and so he treats veterans, and it's just really, really tragic. I feel though that I'm feeling a little so Sunday and Monday I was feeling really hopeless, and I think partially is like the snowstorm. So you're stuck at home and just kind of watching the news incessantly, and so I was kind of feeling like, oh, we are already in a dictatorship. We are already in an
Yeah.
authoritarian country, and like it doesn't feel like we're a democracy anymore. We're kind of lawless. I mean, or the government is basically setting laws and defying their own laws that they've set.
Hmm.
But I think I've turned a little bit of a corner, and I'm feeling a little more hopeful. And I think because at least on social media, the tide seems to have turned a little bit with Alex's death because people who have not posted, and I'm talking about more like influencers and celebrities, and I follow a lot of Bachelor alums, and
Hmm.
The Bachelor is actually known to be a pretty conservative show. Like a lot of the contestants tend to be conservative, um, and a lot of the audience is like a lot of them are religious. A lot of them are country music fans. That's why whenever they have like a musical guest, it's always country music. So, I've always felt a little uncomfortable knowing that, but there are some, people that I follow on social media. I really like their personality. Um, I know some of them are a little more progressive, but regardless of, you know, what side in terms of political party they're on, a lot of them have started to speak up in a really encouraging way, and just talking about kindness and love thy neighbor, and just I don't know, it's given me hope that the tide is turning a little bit, but we shall see. I mean, so much could change by the time this
I
airs
know.
next week.
Well, I think what's giving me hope about all that is just seeing how it's so inspiring. It's really awe-inspiring to see how resolute all the people in Minnesota are. I mean, like,
Hmm.
it is cold out there. You can tell,
Right.
and they're standing there and they're like, and this, it's just like I don't like to go out. Like the other day, I was talking, asking you about the weather, right? And because one of my things was I was going to draw the chickens every day. Like
Mm.
this is stupid, but like so I go out there, I wash my hair, and my hair is freezing
Yes.
because it's turning into ice, and I'm like I can't draw the chickens, and I go back in, and then go on social media, I see these people like outside, like with their whistles, and I'm like, man, I can't stand it like 10 minutes out there with, I don't know. It's so, I don't know.
No,
It's
I mean,
it's really
as I said
awe-inspiring.
last week, it is really awe-inspiring. And I think they are inspiring a lot of other people to act and protest and speak up. So, yeah. Well, anyway, how have you been and how did you survive this snowstorm?
So, let's see. Well, let's see. The first thing before the snowstorm, we went to my sister's place in Saratoga Springs because Girl Scout cookie season has started.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes, I got an email. I have to go check that. I still
It's
have Girl Scout cookies from last
Oh
year
my
because
gosh.
I don't eat
We
them.
still have Girl Scout cookies from last year.
I should just put them all out in our office.
And I'm like, no, I can't take it. Not Girl Scouts cookie season again. But but it
It's
has
the best
started.
time of year.
I and But honestly, but it was good because this year we school just opened where my sister she teaches at Skidmore, and this year she got us a table in their dining hall instead of just the science center, and we sold like 300 boxes of cookies, so it was like really worth it.
Oh,
So we're
wow.
like,
Yeah.
yes. But so that was really, really good. Um, I'm kind of I'm all cookied out already though, like, and we're just at the beginning, so I don't know.
What
I
is
think
Hazel's goal this year?
same as but this year she's like she just wants to make 1,000 boxes to do the camp, and I'm like, honestly, I will pay for you to go to the camp. Can we not do the thousand? And she's like, no, she like it's just like a point of pride for her, and I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, we'll try.
Well,
Oh,
you're a third of the way there almost.
yeah. So
Or wait, did you sell 300 or 400?
300, 300.
300. Okay. Well,
So
yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
so
I'll send it the link out in the
yeah.
office again.
And I have to start doing it on social media and stuff, but the truth is there's just so
Should we
much
put
going.
it in the show notes?
Oh yeah, I'll put it in the show notes. Yeah,
Okay.
let's put it in the show notes and all this. It's just, there's just so much going on in the world. Like, it seems like Minnesota's going on and you're like, buy cookies, buy my book.
Yeah.
It just seems so weird. But maybe buy cookies is I feel less guilty saying buy cookies than buy my books. So
Yes, because cookies bring you joy, bring you joy, and also it goes for a good cause
yeah. And
for
yeah,
Hazel's camp.
The Girl Scouts are fairly righteous and everything like that.
Hmm.
And so anyway, so I think one of the reasons why we sold so many cookies was because we made these signs that said like stock up before the storm.
Oh my gosh.
And
That's
the,
great
and the
marketing.
kids were and all the students were oh yeah, because they kept getting alerts like we're gonna have so much snow. So that worked out well. Then we got snowed in, and because I'm in this kind of weird place where I'm just waiting for I was waiting for comments for the next book. So I've just been doing my own projects, the dish towels. But since that's pretty, when you have your own project, it's like you're not real. You're very lackadaisical. So I actually watched a lot of TV.
Oh, good.
I watched the new Knives Out movie, which I really, really liked. I have to say it was really smart. Did you see the third one?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
It was great.
And then a new thing that Hazel's really into, it's this cartoon animation called Cells at Work.
Hmm.
And it's kind of really interesting because it's basically about like your human body cells, but they've anamorphized it. So a red blood cell's like this girl and a white blood cell's like this what boy, and they're always at war because the germs are coming in, and so it's like, it's like, oh, like a skin abrasion, and like this shows what happens in
Oh,
your body, but
wow.
it's actually really cool because it kind of tells you all the scientific things that are happening in your body. But what's really interesting to me is like we watched all these episodes and it's so turbulent, right? Like every moment, like a germ will come in and then the white blood cells have to like go to war and battle. And like there's these I don't know, it's just really funny, but it's also interesting. And I think about like, oh, like our bodies, like everything's going on is so turbulent, like
Hmm.
everything, there's never like really moments of calm and peace. They're always like on guard. And
Hmm.
it's weird. It kind of made me feel better about our outer world. Like, I'm like, I guess everything is like
This is
in,
life.
yeah,
Right. I mean, the
life
only
is,
constant is change.
yeah, like
Like,
life is turbulent, so
yeah.
maybe like, maybe being sad that we can't be at peace is not realistic, like, I don't know. Anyway, for some reason, it just made me feel better about the world being so turbulent. That's the only word I can think of right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
and then and then I was supposed to be in New York. I supposed to be in New York because I had a school visit today in New York City. And so yesterday I was supposed to take the train. I went to the train station and it's an outdoor train station. So I stood out there for like an hour, freezing and freezing and freezing, checking is saying, where's the train? Where's the train? And finally it said, train is like to be decided when to come. It's not no longer delay. It was like we don't know when the train is coming, and I was like, what? And so I gave up because I was really getting cold, and we are rescheduling the school visit. And after I got home, I found out that the reason why the train decided not to come was because it actually derailed. It
So
derailed,
scary.
and like 100 people were on the train when it derailed. And I was like, "Oh, okay then. I'm glad we're moving the school visit." It's What I thought was interesting was like I was thinking when I was out there in the train station, freezing my bum off, and I was like, "Oh, just my luck," like the train's
Hmm.
delayed. And then I was like, "Oh, my luck sucks." Blah blah blah. And then I come home and then I see that the train was derailed, and thought like, "Huh, I guess." My luck wasn't really that bad after all. I guess
Right.
that bad luck was actually kind of good luck when
It's
you
like
put
that
it.
parable.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting, it is a parable. It kind of made me feel like, oh, I feel like there's a picture book in that. It kind of made me want, that book, Fortunately by Remy Charlotte.
Hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, kind of makes me want to like do a new version of that somehow or something like
Yeah.
that.
Do it.
So, so like, I don't know, but because it was kind of like, it's such an interesting
Yeah.
thing to think like my bad luck is my good luck. My good luck is my bad luck, like
Hmm. Yeah.
anyway.
That's true. That's good.
Anyway.
Oh, I guess I should mention that I am going to be giving the Barbara Elliman Research Library Lecture, the Burrell Lecture at the Eric Carle Museum. So save the date if you're in the area or want to come to the area. It'll be on Saturday, April 18th at 1 o'clock, and it's in the auditorium and it's free. So I don't know yet what I'm going to talk about, but I will figure that out before April 18th. But I'm sure it'll be an incredible talk.
You could ask people for suggestions. We should do a we were going to do a
Oh,
poll.
yes, we
We could do a
were.
poll about like what would people like to hear you talk about too.
Yeah, because I'm hoping it'll be recorded as well.
I think it will be.
Yeah, but yeah. So if you have any ideas, if you don't want to wait
I
for a
gave the
poll and
Burl
just
lecture there a long time ago, but I was a substitute because it was supposed to be Lois Lowry and then she got sick last minute.
oh,
So
so what was your topic?
I think I ended up giving, because it was so last minute, I did my TEDx talk, I think. I'm
Mm,
pretty sure. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, one idea was like maybe something about my imprint, my new imprint.
oh, do you think by then it'll be April? Maybe
Yeah,
we
I
could,
should definitely have a logo by then.
maybe we could
So
do a release party.
maybe it could be a mini release party.
Yeah, it
I
could be a
mean,
mini release party, the Burl lecture. That'd be fun.
okay, I can feel it. I could say this. Well, I wonder. Well, yeah, we'll figure out. I don't know if
Yeah, we
it
could
will be
I'll
have
send out
revealed beforehand.
invitations. I'll ask the Carl if I can bring a cake.
Aw.
That'd be fun.
All right. Well, anyway, save the date.
Okay.
April 18th at the Carl Museum. Okay, so today we actually thought we'd start with our fortune cookie segment because we wanted to talk about some of the ALA Youth Media Award winners and honorees. So I think what we've done in past years is shared the Newbery, Caldecott, and Printz
Mhm.
winners and
Yep.
honorees. So why don't we just do you want to go back and forth and
Yes. So, and we do the gold last, right? Is that what we're gonna do?
sure.
Okay.
Should we do the Newbery
So,
first?
yes, we'll do the
Okay, so the
Newbery
Newbery
first.
honors.
Newbery honors. Okay.
Do you want to start?
Okay. I have The Nine Moons of Han Yu and Lu Li, written and illustrated. She illustrated it by Karina. I haven't
I
seen
think
it.
she has. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
We
cool.
learned something.
I have to go see the illustrations. Karina Yan Glazer. Yay!
Yay,
Hooray!
Karina. Yay.
Published by Ali Da, which is Linda Sue Park's imprint. So that's so
Yes. That's
exciting. So
very exciting.
congratulations. I'm sorry I have not read the book yet. It looks awesome though.
Me neither, but now we have to.
Yes.
And also receiving a Newbery honor is A Sea of Lemon Trees, the Corrida of Roberto Alvarez, written by Maria Dolores Aguila and published by Roaring Brook Press, a division of Holt Springs Publishing.
Yes, and that's won a lot of awards.
It
So
has a beautiful cover too.
yes. So
And I know that was edited
congratulations.
by one of Connie's editors, Connie Shue's editors at
Yay!
Roaring Brook. So very exciting.
Another honor is The Teacher of No Man Land, a World War II story written by Daniel Nayeri and published by Arthur A. Levine Books. Was that National Book Award
Yep, that won the
finalist as
National
well?
Book.
Yes,
It won the National Book
it won
Award.
the National Book.
And I
Yes,
read this one, and it's excellent. It's a short but really fascinating history of World War II, like a part of World War II history that I didn't know before. So I definitely
hooray!
recommend it.
And then, I
Yay! Oh,
think it's
I get
you.
to say this. The
Yeah.
Undead Fox of Deadwood Forest, Yay, which is
Yay!
written by Aubrey Hartman, illustrated by Marcin Miner, and published by Little Brown and Company, a division of Hachette Book
Hooray!
Group, book. And this
Is
was edited by Rakaya Daoud, who,
Oh,
yes,
congratulations,
is my former
Rakaya. So happy to hear
assistant.
that.
She's now a senior editor and she's totally killing it. She's rocking it. So this is
Yay.
amazing and it's such a great book. I read the partial at acquisitions, but then it was getting a lot of buzz and I'm like, you know what? I have to read the whole book. So I did and it's so wonderful and so great that it was
Yay.
recognized.
Is it debut?
It's a second book by
Okay.
her. We also published her first book, which was also wonderful
Uh,
and also would have been worthy.
Congratulations. Yay.
And then do you want to share the medal winner?
Oh, the medal winner was All the Blues in the Sky, written by Renee Watson.
Yay!
Yay! And published by Bloomsbury Children's Book. I love Renee, so I'm so, so happy to see her
Yes,
name.
and I just downloaded the audiobook, so I listened. I was listening to it on my Peloton ride this morning, and I was like crying while riding the Peloton, and I could not breathe through my nose while running. While
I'm having
riding.
a really hard time with that. Like
Uh,
exercising, like
no, it's hard.
daytime like working, I can do it. Like if I remember, I always forget, but when I remember, but exercise, I cannot just
No,
breathe
it's
through my
hard. Like
nose.
I'll remember it. I'm like, oh no, and then I
And
just
they're like,
can't. But if you do it part of the time, but definitely couldn't while riding and crying at the same time. Moving on to the Caldecott. The first honor book is Every Monday Mabel,
that
illustrated
book's
and
beautiful.
written by Jashar Awan and published by Simon and Schuster Books for Young Readers. And this was one I mentioned last week as this was one that we really loved when we did our mock Caldecott.
Hooray! This one was also super beautiful. Our Lake, illustrated and written by Angie Kang, I think, Kong, and published by Kokila. It really looked beautiful, so I'm really glad to see that book there too.
Yes, we also reviewed this at our mock Caldecott, and I just thought it was so poignant and moving and beautiful. Next up is Stalactite and Stalagmite, a big tale from a little cave, illustrated and written by Drew Beckmeyer and published by Athenaeum Books for Young Readers, an imprint of Simon and Schuster.
This one was
Um,
not on my radar, but it looks cool.
so this one I saw, I haven't read the whole thing, but
Uh-huh.
I've like read about it, and I
Uh-huh.
think you know what, Allison I think talked about this on the podcast,
Ah, okay.
um, because I remember, and we actually are publishing Drew's next. I don't know if it's his next picture book, but we're publishing a picture book by him, so we're
Great.
really excited.
Hooray.
Hooray!
And then we have Sundust, another one that was not on my radar, but also looks amazing. Illustrated and written by Zeke
Pena,
I'm sorry, Pena, and published by
Cocula.
Kokila.
Oh, wait.
Kokila.
Cocula had two honor books. That's great. This was also in our mock Caldecott, and it's beautiful. It's neon. Like there's a neon
Uh-huh.
pink, and it's so bright and eye-catching and really cool.
Well,
It's
that's the
like,
same as the winner.
yes, and the winner is Fireworks.
Yay!
Woo! Illustrated by Katya Chen,
Yay,
written,
Katya, who's also one of
yay.
my favorite people. So
Yes,
I'm
and
so
who I
happy to see
know
that.
sometimes or listens to this podcast. So,
Yay.
yay. Written by Matthew Burgess and published by Clarion Books, an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that because I mean, I have a soft spot, like I said, for when the winners are authors or illustrators who've been like in the business for a long time and like just
Hmm.
finally get their flowers. So like I'm so happy about that.
Yes. And, I will say, so this one won our mock Caldecott. So we thought it was going to win. We thought I mean, not that it deserved to win. Every book deserves to win. It is a distinguished book, but we were also rooting for this one. And yeah, I think it's also to have like a Taiwanese illustrator win the Caldecott Medal is really exciting.
Yay!
um, all right. And then should we talk about the prints?
Yes. Okay,
Oh,
so
we have
a
to.
Prince Honor book, which is not YA is not my strong suit, but I'm sure these are awesome. Cope Field, written by T.L. Simpson and published by Flux.
Yes. And then another Prince honor was The House No One Sees, written by Adina King and published by Fievel and Friends, an imprint of Macmillan Children's Publishing Group.
And then there was Sisters in the Wind, written by Angeline Boulet, who also is a winner from the
Yeah.
past.
Yes. And that was published
Oh,
also,
sorry, by
yeah,
Henry Holt, Books for Young Reader.
which is also an imprint of Macmillan Children's book, as is the next book. It's funny, I didn't realize until I'm reading this list. It's interesting to see. Song of a Blackbird, written and illustrated by Maria van Lieshout and published by First Second, an imprint of Macmillan Children's Publishing Group. So that one must be a graphic novel. And I actually am, I have to say, I'm not familiar with these books except for the Angeline Bully book, which I haven't read, but would like to.
And the winner of the Printz Award was Legendary Fry Bread Drive-In Intertribal Stories, edited by Cynthia Leitich Smith and published by Heart Drum. So it was an
Yay!
anthology, is that correct?
It is an anthology.
So that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and that's an imprint of HarperCollins. Um, Yeah, this is the second time in the last 3 years that an anthology has won the Prince, actually. So last year was a graphic novel, but the year before was also an anthology. So I thought that was really interesting. But it's really exciting for Cynthia Leitich Smith. I was reading so PW talks about when they received their call, and she said it was not on her radar at all. Like she had no,
Aww.
and I understand that because I think you don't usually think about a short story anthology as winning the Prince.
Hmm.
Although maybe now people will, since it's won twice in the last 3 years.
Hooray.
And I, of course, just wanted to run through some of the winners that we had at Little Brown. So we already mentioned Undead Fox of Deadwood Forest. And then I also mentioned Joel Parker Rhodes and Will's Race for Home. Um, so we received a American Indian Youth Literature Award honor for Raven's Ribbons, and that's by Tasha Spillett and illustrated by Daniel Ramirez. Marie Arnold also received a Coretta Scott King Book Award author honor for Split the Sky. Um, there was also a graphic novel award that wasn't announced at the press conference, but was included in the ALA press release. So I think it might be similar. Do you remember how the Apollo Award
Hmm.
sometimes wasn't announced at the press release, but
Hmm.
there was still,
Yeah.
included? So I think this is a new award for graphic novels, and so I think maybe in the future it might be included in the
Hmm.
press conference. We shall see. But we had two graphic novels: Hello Sunshine by Keezy Young and The Snips, A Bad Buzz Day by Raul III. Both received graphic novels and Comics Roundtable Outstanding Comics Award honors.
Hooray.
And then author Cortez Harris and illustrator Gordon C. James received the Robert F. Seibert Informational Book Award honor for Go Tell It. Steph Cherrywell wrote The Ink Witch, and Corey Liu wrote He's So Possessed with Me. And they both won Stonewall honors.
Hooray.
And I mentioned John
Oh,
Picasso.
and I would just before you, I wanted
Yes.
to give a shout out to my friend Mike Corrado, who also won a Stonewall Award for his adult book, Gasians.
Yay, which was published by Hachette.
Yes. Sorry, keep
Um,
going.
and then just two kind of more author type awards. Kadir Nelson received the Coretta Scott King Virginia Hamilton Award for Lifetime Achievement. And we just published Kadir Nelson's book Basketball. And with the Disney purchase back in 2020, we do have some of his other backlist. And then Kwame Alexander was named the Children's Literature Lecture Award winner. So
Hey,
it was a lovely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably
So
should
that
know
one
that
used to
award.
be called it used to have a different name and they changed it.
Okay, because I was like, I don't know that award.
I know. Now I forget what it used to be. But the Arbuthnot the Arbuthnot
Oh, okay, okay,
lecture.
okay. Yes, I know that one. Okay.
Yes, they changed. I don't know why they changed the name, but they did change the name, and that's what that is.
Okay, got it.
So congratulations to all the winners and
Yeah,
honorees.
yay.
And as we said last year, though, remember, last year, well, we said this last year too, but also last week.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's just so many beautiful, distinguished books.
Yeah,
I mentioned some books that we really thought would or should win in our mock Caldecott, and some of them did not win anything. But that doesn't
yeah.
mean they're any less
Doesn't
beautiful or that kids won't discover them and love them.
I
So
know. I know. I know a couple of people who had broken hearts and I feel so, so sad.
yeah, it
Um,
is hard, which is why we thought it would be appropriate to talk about today's topic, main topic, which is is how to cultivate joy for other people's success. So Grace, you had mentioned that this was something that was on your mind. Do you want to expand a little bit on that?
yeah, sure. So the reason why this is on my mind, because so I will be honest, every year the awards come out and I am super happy for the winners, but there's always like this twinge of like sadness and maybe and jealousy, right? And
Hmm.
this year for the first time and oh sorry, and then every but I always go through this cycle of like it's okay, like and you have to like
Yep.
talk yourself down and like be like and how to be happy for other people and like so this year I was like waiting for the same thing. Like I was like, okay, and for the first time ever, I didn't have to do that. And I remember feeling like I'm just really happy for the winners. Like for the first time in my life, I'm a little ashamed to say that, but like it only took me like 50, well, okay, 20, 27, so whatever years to like feel completely like happy for the winners without any twinge of like jealousy, without any twinge of sadness, without any, like just like and to me, for me, it's such a breakthrough for me personally as a personal achievement like I feel really elated. Like it's such a weird feeling. Like I almost feel more joyful because it's like I got like that burden was like off
Yeah,
of
you
me.
feel
Like
free.
yeah, I feel like free. Like I feel like really like I'm not even it's like I'm more happy about that than I am about like people winning. But it's
Yeah.
such an interesting thing and I feel like it and who knows, maybe next year won't be like that. Maybe it's specific to this year. Maybe it's specific to this time because I see everything going on in the world and I realize, all these things don't matter.
Hmm.
Who knows? But all I know is that it feels great to be
Yeah.
happy for
Yeah.
other people's
I think
success.
that's wonderful. And I guess I'll add that you technically did have a book that was eligible, right? I feel like sometimes you've maybe felt happy for others in years where you didn't have a book
Hmm.
that was in even eligible, right? So
Yeah.
it's just like no pressure.
Yeah.
But Gate Girl, the
Yeah, yeah.
Girl and the
So
Dragon
yeah,
came
that's
out
what
last
I think
year.
that's
Yeah.
why I feel so happy. It was like, oh, and I even had a book out this year that was
Hmm.
eligible, that was getting, like I knew wasn't getting any buzz, wasn't, like
Yeah.
and I was sad about that, but not enough to like I don't know, it's just an
Yeah.
interesting
Do you
feeling.
feel like some of it is expectations, or do you feel like it's the work that you have put in over the past years? Because I feel like you've had a bunch of breakthroughs in the past couple of years,
Yeah, I think it's
likewise.
both. I think
Hmm.
expectations. I think if there had been if it had been like buzzed and buzzed and buzzed about and like people were and it hadn't, it probably would have hurt
Hmm.
more or hurt.
Yeah.
Like but I do think it is the work of like of all the years of like
Hmm.
trying to I don't know, put it aside. Anyway,
Yeah.
but this is just me patting myself on the back. I feel like I need to like
Well, yeah. And I guess related to that, because I think as an editor, I also feel sometimes this professional jealousy or
Yeah.
twinge of disappointment. And, I've talked about past years when I've been the editor of like the book, the quote unquote book of
Yeah.
destiny, right? The book that everyone thinks is going to
Yeah.
win. And those are hard years. And I think for me as the editor, it's less pressure on me than maybe the creator, of course. But there is that
Yeah.
anxiety feeling. And I have to say, I did feel that this year. And I think part of it is, of course, I was very aware of the timing. Like I knew when we would hear. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes as a creator, because the publisher, we don't want you to worry. So
Hmm.
we don't, we try to
But we
make it
all
not,
kind of
we'll
know.
all kind of know, but we also try not to put it on your
Hmm.
radars. But we know because,
Yeah.
our school and library marketing director is very clear. Like, if I call you on this day, you have to pick up. It's very important. Um, and so it changes every year. Like, it used to be the same
Yeah.
before the pandemic. It used to be the early morning, Monday
Hmm.
morning phone calls. But since the pandemic, it's changed. So
Yeah.
this year it was actually kind of on a rolling basis, maybe starting Thursday or Friday, but Saturday was the main day. And I didn't hear anything all day, and I did have a couple books that, luckily did end up getting recognized. But I had, luckily, actually, this is the other thing I watched this weekend was I watched what's his last name? He climbed the
Oh, Taipei
Taipei
101?
101,
Uh-huh.
the guy from Free Solo. So I got distracted by that, luckily. And then I just kind of forgot about it. And then Victoria, it turned out, was texting me saying, like, pick up your phone. Um, but I think I was hopeful for, yes, as you said, it would have been nice for Will's Race for Home to be considered for a Newbery honor. I think I was hopeful for that because it was on a lot of mock Newberries, but I also, I've been in the business long enough to know that you just
It's
never
just
know.
yeah, it's like what we were saying last week with Susanna. It's like it's such a roll of the dice,
Yes, and
like
it's luck. So much of it is luck. Depends on
and the
who's on
timing,
the
like is it
committee.
timely as well as timeless, like
Mm,
and so
yeah,
but I also want to I'm like giving myself such props because I finally feel like this year for the first time I was able to like get like shed that like um feeling of despair or jealousy. But I don't want but if you're a creator and you do feel that, I don't want people to feel bad about that. Like I
yeah,
think
because
that
it's
it's a
totally
really
normal. It's
yeah, it's a
totally
completely
normal.
normal and like you made something that you loved. Your book was something you loved. Well, otherwise, why would we make it, right? And of
Hmm.
course, you were hoping that it would
Yeah.
be recognized. We all hope to recognize. I mean, it's like whenever people, I always my go-to speech when like I can't think of anything to say when like they're like, "Do you have words to say at like at a ceremony?" And I'm like, the worst feeling in the world is to make something that you believe in so much. You make a book that you love and you craft and you love it so much, and you put it out in the world and nobody cares. Like that's
Hmm.
the most heartbreaking feeling. It's not that not even if they hate it. In fact, hating it makes you feel better than it's the worst. It's like nobody cares, like and that is so heartbreaking. And so I can understand like sometimes you feel like getting this award shows people care,
Hmm.
and it does, but that's not the only way. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's like I understand that's why we yearn for it because it shows that people care. But don't worry, there's other ways to show that people care about what you made. So
Yes, but yes, just know that it is a very normal feeling.
yeah.
And I mean, I think you are so elated because it's rare to not have this feeling.
Yes, it's super rare. Like, yeah, like I said, it's so super rare for me not to
Mhm.
have this feeling. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel like
Yeah.
punk drunk.
Yes. I
Like,
think
like,
also
hey.
I mean, well, I know you're not. What? Anyway, I was going to say, like, I know you're friends with Renee Watson, so you're like
Yes.
very happy for her. And
Hmm.
I don't,
And
you're
I was rooting for
friendly with
Katya.
Katya, and
Yeah.
we're rooting
So
for
maybe
her.
it's because I was happy to see the people who did win, like so
Yeah.
I mean it could be so like maybe next year it'll be somebody who
Someone
I'm
will win. You're like, that book sucks. No, just kidding.
and I'll be like
Just
"Arr." So
kidding.
and then they'll be all back. So
Well, so when picked this topic, I was kind of looking around online and I found this column or article in the New York Times from back in 2022 titled The opposite of Schadenfreude is Freudenfreude. And here's how to cultivate it.
Though I
And
did see that other article you sent where it said Freudenfreude is not a word.
yes, so
But
in this article, I think in the original text, it said that Freudenfreude was a German word for the opposite of Schadenfreude, for finding joy in other people's success. But it actually is not a German word. All these German people wrote in and said, Freudenfreude is not a word. So they actually did change the language to say it was inspired by the German word for
okay,
joy.
which
But
makes more sense.
but they do say that it is a term that some social scientists use.
Hmm.
And I will say there's another word that a lot of people use called what was it?
Ma
It
ma ma mudu mudita? Mu
mu yes, mudita, which is a Sanskrit word,
yes,
which is a Sanskrit word um, for
a concept of joy.
sympathetic or vicarious joy, the pleasure
Yes.
that comes from delighting in other people's well-being, which we've touched on in the past, I know. But so this article, it was good because it started off with someone who was really jealous of someone and actually admitted it, and it made her feel better.
Yeah, and I thought that was a really interesting way that the article started because we've talked about that too,
Hmm.
where when somebody says, "Oh, I'm so jealous of you," and how like is that a and we had earlier
Well,
said that's not a nice
I don't think
thing to
it's
say.
a nice thing to hear if you're the person who has the success and someone says it to you, but I could see
Hmm.
how it could be beneficial for the person saying it, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
because it puts it out in the open and it like then it releases it, you know? But
Hmm.
it's tough because yeah, it's
Right.
tough for the person receiving, right?
Right, because then maybe you feel a little guilty or like, oh, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah.
But they said that finding pleasure in another person's good fortune, it describes the bliss we feel when someone else succeeds, even if it doesn't directly involve us. And the article said Freudenfreude is like social glue. It makes relationships more intimate and enjoyable. They also said there was a study in 2021 which examined positive empathy's role in daily life and found that it propelled kind acts like helping others. Sharing in someone else's joy can also foster resilience. It can improve life satisfaction and help people cooperate during a conflict. So, very
Yeah.
positive things. And what's good, I think, is there are tips. So, do you want to maybe we
Yeah, I
can
think that's really
alternate the
important because
tips?
I feel like the tips because I feel like I so what I've been publishing what 26 years, but probably even before that, every time the awards come out or a year-end list comes out, right? It's
Hmm.
been this constant like dialogue with myself of like, no, other people's joy, other people's successes don't take away from yours. Your book is this, blah, blah, blah,
Hmm.
and I think, and it's really kind of corny when I think about it, like the corny conversation that I had with myself over and over and over again. But I feel like as the years went on, I needed it less and less. So it's like kind of a nice thing. So I think tips is really good. So one of the first tips that they suggest is to show active interest in someone else's happiness. So if somebody, even if your heart isn't in it. So well, this is where I think it's true. If somebody else is really successful, has achieved a success, if you think it will be okay for you to say, "Oh, I'm really jealous," I think it's okay. I would feel it out, like
Yeah.
because I don't like you
Yes.
said, I wouldn't want the
Yes.
other person to feel
Or,
bad.
I mean, maybe you can just admit it to yourself, but maybe you don't have to say it to the person.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something the truth is I'm guilty of doing that, like saying, "Oh, I'm super jealous." And there is something cathartic about that because I feel
Hmm.
like once you say it and acknowledge it, then you can say, "But I'm so happy for you," and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
because
I think it's nice.
you feel like it's more honest, at least
Yeah, that's true.
as the jealous
It
person,
is more authentic.
as the jealous, and it also feels like I'm prefacing this so if I sound awkward or if you saw me make a face or something like that, like it's kind of like if you caught something weird in me, it's because I'm
Hmm.
jealous, but I really am happy for you. Like that's kind of like how I've always kind of felt like it when I've prefaced things. So,
Hmm. Yes.
but
And I think the important part is after you admit you're jealous, also say you're happy
yes,
for.
I think that's very important. Like I'm super jealous, but I'm so happy for you. Like I think that's the big but is important. But
Um,
and they said to fake it, even if your heart isn't in it, fake
mhm,
it. And I think that's true because I feel like if you for these kind of things, if you fake it, all of a sudden you do feel it. Like it's
mhm.
like, wait, I am happy for them.
Right.
Like it's
It's kind of like they say, like, if you smile, you will feel better, even
yes.
if you don't feel like smiling. So,
Yeah, they said like the physical act of smiling like does something to your endorphins in your brain. It like makes you
mhm.
feel happy. So like even if you don't feel like smiling, be
Right.
like, I'm so happy. And then all of a sudden you will feel happier.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's true. Like when you say something kind to someone, it does make you feel better. And it also
hmm
makes the other person feel better. So yeah, that makes sense.
so
The second tip was view individual success as a communal effort. So no one gets to the top alone, and when we elevate others, we're often carried up with them.
So,
Um,
do you think this is talking about like if you yourself get success, you should be like, I couldn't do this without the wonderful work of Little Brown and company, like, or is
yes.
this more about when you view somebody else's success? Like, oh, you wouldn't have gotten that imprint if it wasn't for me
Well,
too.
so I think it's both in a way, but I think it's saying that so if you're the one who gets the success, but you see it as okay, well, I couldn't have done kind of like when someone gets the Oscar and they're like, I want to thank this person and that
Yes.
person, that person. I think that fosters this for the people, maybe who are, they're kind of being brought along with you.
Yeah.
So I think if you're not the one who achieved the success, but then someone kind of, and well, I mean, I guess the second tip and the third tip are, I think, similar. So why don't you talk about the
Well,
third
the
tip?
third one was share credit for your successes with others. See, and I think this is really important. I was just listening to a Hidden Brain podcast where they're talking about how like we as individuals, uh, it's a natural inclination that when we achieve success, we see all the hard things that we've done to achieve it, and we're like, I
Mm,
did this, I
yeah.
did this. But when we have failed or something goes wrong or something goes bad, we look at everything else as like, oh, it rained, and then this person didn't
Yeah.
pull up their, didn't bring the thing in time. Like we blame, we find other people's faults or the outer world to blame for our failures, but we give ourselves the credit for our successes and how that's kind of not
Yeah.
quite how real life
Yeah.
how it is in reality. So sharing credit for your success with others, to do this, and this is from the article, try an exercise called bragitude, which I think is kind of weird, but okay. Uh, this involves expressing gratitude when someone else's success or support leads to your own. Start by sharing your win and then tell the other person how they helped. Okay,
That's nice.
okay,
Tell me
what's a recent win that you had?
tell
I mean, I
me
guess
about.
if uh
I'm trying
well,
to
so I mean, let's just use the Will's Race for Home,
yes.
Jewel Parker Rhodes. Like internally, I do get a lot of credit for a book winning an award, but it really, I actually haven't done this yet, but I should say to the designer, Jenny Kimura, like, oh gosh, your hard work, on this
hmm
book really made a difference. The cover is so great. And, I think it helped people like gravitate to the book and like I think that kind of thing. I will say that we do so the view individual success as a communal effort. I mean, I do think about that when like I'm really excited every year if Little Brown as a house gets a lot of wins, even if none of my books were awarded. Of course, it's nice when I also have books that win something,
hmm
but it's just, I do feel like I feel that in the group. Like there are a lot of people who are just really excited for everybody. Um, and that's just a nice feeling. Like it does feel like a team
hmm
win.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a really interesting thing. And it's a good reminder, I think, so it's kind of like bragitude is kind of like brag about the people who helped make
Yes.
the win. So,
And then the last tip is turn into a joy spectator. And they advise to cultivate joy by inviting others to share their victories. So, I guess it's kind of like it's sometimes we do roses and thorns, for example. It's like, so I think the rose is like share a, highlight of the day or a win for the day. And then get really excited for them, which is nice. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, inviting others. Yeah. I'm just trying to think about if there's something more specific. Okay, just
Yeah.
like
I mean, and this is I mean, I guess related to the words when we had our editorial meeting on Monday afternoon, and so Erin Berger was running it, and she said, "Oh, I want to hear the stories of the call, or I want to hear, what happens when you found out." And so like different editors shared, how they felt or how the author reacted, and it was nice. All right. So, anything else you want to talk about when it comes to finding
nothing,
joy in other
just
people's
one.
successes?
I mean, I just want to reiterate again for those who did not hear their books named. Um, I'm with you. I all and it's okay. It's really okay. And
Mhm.
our books are going to find the the readers who love them no matter what. So
Yes. Well, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing this, but in previous years, I think what you haven't handled it as well internally, and I think what has helped you kind of come out of it sometimes has been to realize how many other authors are in the same boat.
yes.
And then it makes you realize, oh, well, obviously not everyone can win.
Yes. I mean, think about how many books there are. I mean, the problem is that we have tunnel visions as authors, right? We just see our books and maybe a handful of the books that are mentioned, or maybe a handful of the books that our friends have, right? And so, like, we just have this tunnel vision of the books that are viable for the award, but that's really not true. There's thousands. Like, think about when you go to the conferences or even a bookstore, like so many books are out there. And it's like the chance of you winning anything is really, really small.
Yeah.
But we you don't you kind of don't get that
Yeah.
like until you take a step back, like
Right.
it's
And I think
so
sometimes it hurts more if you feel like you were closer.
yes, I think so.
But I will say, in a way, I think it's so great to have been close. Like,
Hmm.
those years where I had like the Book of Destiny, like I'm actually so grateful that so many people thought it was going to win
Hmm.
and wanted it to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, to be honest, it helped sales too. Um, but just to know that people love the book so much that they wanted it to win or they thought it was going
Yeah.
to win. I think to me, I'm always happy to know that
And
a book
and really
was being
that's
discussed or in the room,
yeah.
so to speak.
And if you're like a book of destiny or a book that was buzzed about and it didn't get anything, like, I mean, it just shows that people loved your book,
Hmm.
like, so in some ways, even though it is easier if there's no buzz, it is kind of a little heartbreaking that there isn't any too, because it's like,
Yes.
what? But we'll get our buzz other ways, people. Don't worry.
Yes. And, I always say my philosophy is that I want every book to be at least one child's favorite book. And I do think that your book, honestly, just by being published, is going to be discovered by a kid who's going to love it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why we do it. But I guess going back to communal effort and communal successes, I do think, I mean, any win in children's publishing is a win for all of us, and I think the excitement of the awards is really a win for children's
Yeah, and
publishing.
just getting people like excited about children's books just for that
Hmm.
brief moment
Yeah.
in this messy, messy world right now is kind of a nice light. So,
Yes. All right. So with that, let us end as we always do with what we're grateful for. Grace, what are you grateful for?
okay. Well, now I feel like I should say something about like I'm really grateful that I have books, that I'm grateful that I'm still here after all these years, and I hope that I'm still here after even so many. I hope I'm still here 26 years in the future. So, like, so I'm grateful for that. Um, and you know what? I'm kind of grateful for being so old now.
Yeah.
You know, like I really think we talk about perimenopause and menopause and being old, and like, yes, there's a lot of real clunky things about it. But I do think one of the upsides is that like all these little talks and all these little things I've given myself, and like I feel like I'm finally getting to the point where, wow, I can just not care about certain things that are not important anymore. I could really just care about important things for
We are
finally.
wise. We are wiser now.
Yeah, I feel wiser now. Um, well, maybe not next week, but right now I feel wiser and I'm grateful for that. How about you?
Um, so I am grateful for so there is a new, I was actually trying to find okay. So there's a new fundraiser, which by the time this episode airs,
Yeah.
it will already have been over, but it's called Publishing for Minnesota. And I'm really grateful for the organizers of that. It was Mabel Sue and Zoe Cole, I think, were the main organizers. And, I was lucky to see Mabel post about it in her stories. And I saw her ask, is anyone interested in helping organize like a fundraiser? And I said, I'm not good at organizing, or I didn't feel like equipped or
Yeah.
technologically equipped to do it, but I said, but I'm happy like to help in any way. And then like, I just feel like it was like 10 minutes later or half an hour later, there was a website up. And so I was lucky to see it quickly to be able to donate because I know so
Yeah,
many,
I didn't even get a chance to donate.
right. Apparently, in less than 12 hours, they got over 500 donations and they had to
Yeah.
cut it. But so I got in there. But yeah, I mean, I think it just shows how how much the publishing industry
And how
is.
much we all want to help somehow.
Yeah, we want this one. And so I feel like this, I talked about feeling a little bit better about things, and I think this helped, because I think we all felt so hopeless. And this is something that we could do, like something tangible that we could do. So I'm
Yes.
really grateful for that. And I'm also grateful. So the Wild Robot has been on the New York Times, the series list for a long time. It kind of pops on and off, but it did hit 100 weeks on the New York Times
Yahoo!
bestseller list last week, which is very
Congratulations.
exciting. And so I'm grateful for all of the readers and buyers of the books. So
Yay!
yay.
And Wild Robot did not win any awards.
It did not. I mean, it may be one. I mean, it's won
Did,
some
well, it
state
didn't win the
awards,
Newbery.
and no,
Let's say
did
did
not.
not win the Newbery.
It was not even really buzzed about. I don't recall. um, Although I don't know, maybe some people thought it would. Oh, I wanted to. This is something really silly, but the other thing I'm grateful for is on Saturday when all of the talk of the storm was coming, and it was actually very, very cold that day. I realized I had bought this coat before our we went to China, in 2000, was that 2005 or 2006? And that's the my big puffy coat that I've had forever, and the zipper is broken, and so when it gets really cold, I'll still wear it, but then the snaps come off, and so I'm like, you know what? It's probably time to invest in a new, like really warm puffy coat.
Uh-huh.
And so I decided to order one on Saturday, and I'm like, it probably won't come in, like, it won't come for a while, but at least I'll have it.
Hmm.
And I ordered it from Quince, which I've ordered from them before.
Uh-huh.
They shipped it out right away. It arrived on Monday. So I wore it to work yesterday. It was really cold yesterday, and it's so warm and it's long, and
Uh-huh.
I got so many compliments on it. Anyway, I'm very
My sister
grateful.
just when I saw Lishi in Saratoga Springs, she had just bought a coat from Quince as
It's
well.
probably the same one.
It's probably the same coat. She looked like she was wearing a sleeping bag, and she's like, "I'm so warm."
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like,
Yes. So anyway, I recommend I recommend Quince. It's because it's really nice quality and it's really warm and it came really quickly. So I'm grateful for that.
"What color was yours?"
I did kind of, it's like a light bluish or
Okay,
like a gray. I was
yeah, hers
debating
is like a
between that and
gray.
purple. So, but I like it. All right. That was the Cultivating Joy and Other Successes episode. Thank you for listening, and thanks to Alex at Paceyworks Studio for editing this podcast. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend about it.
And tag us on social media using the hashtag BookFriendsForever, or send us a message via Instagram at BookFriendsForever_podcast, or via our website, BookFriendsForever.com. And please join our Patreon, which we'll do something with someday. The link is in the show notes.
We have goals.
We have goals, and
Resolutions.
we're gonna do a poll. I think we should do a poll soon, because then you can also ask about what to talk about at the Burl.
Yes. Well, we did say we're doing it before Lunar New Year, so.
Oh, okay. We got time. But we had to do soon.
Yes. All right. I'm Alvina Ling, and you can find me at Planet Alvina on TikTok and at Alvina Ling on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads.
TikTok has been going through some stuff.
Yes.
Maybe we should talk about that next time. I'm Grace Lin, and you can find me at Pacey Lin on Instagram and Threads, and author Grace Lin on Facebook, and Grace Lin author on TikTok, maybe.
Have a great week.
And don't forget to read. Bye.
Bye.